everybody. Mike Crispino along with you for the MCS Cannon Knicks game night. Such is the nature of coaching in New York, coaching a team in decline, hoping to reload and regenerate itself in the offseason with free agent ammunition. The Knicks fired Don Nelson today, the three-time Coach of the Year, Don Nelson. The man who was the sixth all-time winningest coach in NBA history is now history here in New York after just 59 games. Nelson was shooting himself in the foot regularly, trying to make changes on the fly, and he is gone now. Here are the numbers: 34-25, second in the Atlantic, but just 4-9 since the All-Star break. In fact, since the 18-6 start, the Knicks have not been playing good basketball. The career numbers: 851 and 629. He went to 3 Eastern Conference championship rounds, was unable to win any of those, and there's the playoff record at 51 and 61. So the new man who will take over the New York Knicks is Jeff Van Gundy, a familiar face to many who have followed the Knicks in the last few years. A 7-year assistant coach here under 4 different coaches. And certainly his tenure under Pat Riley, I think, gives him a shot to regain control of this New York Knicks team that seemingly has spun out of control, refusing to play defense, does not rebound anymore, and certainly rebelled against Don Nelson's coaching style.
Are the reactions from Knicks players at their shoot-around earlier today?
In this profession, you know, this organization, you know, people have to do what they got to do. It's part of the business. We wasn't playing well, and when you're not playing well, then someone had to take the blunt of it. And you know, as being the head coach, you know, he had to take the blunt of it.
I was a little bit surprised. Didn't really expect it. I mean, we're getting down towards the end of the season, but you know, that's how this league goes. If you're hired, in most instances you're soon to be fired. But you know, he's been around for a long time, and you know, anytime you see a guy go, you know, you feel a little bit sad for him, and I don't know what to say. I mean, I was surprised when I heard this morning.
One thing, anytime someone loses their position in this business, I think you have to feel bad for them. But on the flip side, it's part of this business. You know, I don't think anybody would say that they're happy that Coach Nelson is fired or anything like that. But you know, you move on from it. All we can do is go on and move forward.
To be honest with you, I'm pretty shocked right now. So many things have gone on this season. It seems like this is the last straw, and to really be honest with you, I really don't have any comment on it because it's happened so fast. Haven't had time to absorb it, but you know, we need to concentrate tonight and get a win because we've got a tough schedule coming up.
So it is now Jeff Van Gundy as the head coach of the New York Knicks. Jeff, an assistant under Pat Riley, an assistant, of course, under Don Nelson. He last was a head coach in high school up in Rochester. He's from a coaching family and is extremely well regarded around the NBA. Here's how Knicks players reacted to the news of Van Gundy taking over.
Well, I'll say this. For him, we're going to get back to basics. We're going to get back to working the way things have been around here all the time, and we're going to rebound and we're going to defend, because that's something that I think Coach Van Gundy believes in so wholeheartedly, and I think that's what he feels is going to give us an opportunity to win.
Jeff is a coach that has knowledge of the game, and he understands the game very well. You know, his work ethic is, you know, it's been chronicled throughout his career. He's going to put in the effort in order for us to get the best product out there on the court. He understands the game very well. I think guys respect him. You know, it's a great situation for him to be in right now, and with a veteran coach and Don Chaney there to back him up. So I think it's going to be a good situation for us for the rest of the year.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for himself. You know, he's really worked hard as an assistant, and he's prepared. He's ready to be a head coach, and he's going to do a good job here. I think the team will respond to Jeff. I think so, very much so. He's the type of person that you have to respond to, and I think the team will positively.
We just got to play basketball. You know, Jeff is a new coach, and whatever his system is, we have to go out and implement that system. We have to believe in it and try to win games.
All right, reaction from Knicks players following their shoot-around earlier today here in Philadelphia. We'll have more on the Knicks coaching change. John will be chatting with the new coach, Jeff Van Gundy, and Knicks team president, Ernie Grunfeld.
An environment so that they can play as well as possible. But it's not about just me. It's about the team and the sacrifice that goes into winning basketball. And hopefully our guys are ready to put forth the necessary work and sacrifice and role playing, all those things that go into the championship caliber teams, because that's really what I'm looking for. And I think really that's what they expect out of themselves.
Jeff, is there any particular stamp fans will see immediately tonight in Philadelphia? Lineup change, refocusing of roles on the team that might be outstanding. Is there anything you feel you must do radically other than just present an attitude adjustment?
Well, I don't think from a technical sense there's any major changes you can make in one day. And I really don't believe that there's a lot of technical adjustments that need to be made. I think that any good team relies on its defense and rebounding. I think it's the two areas that you can be consistent in. Sometimes your offense is going to be up and down. I believe we have enough offense to win if our priorities are defense and rebounding. And really, that's what I want our guys to concentrate on. It sounds easier than it is, but I expect it from them. I think they expect that of themselves, and I think that's even more important, what they expect of themselves. And I think their expectations are very high for themselves. And so, you know, it's about time that we start living up to the responsibility of that, and I think the time to start that is tonight.
Jeff, do you anticipate hiring a new assistant?
You know, John, being so quick, I haven't really given it a whole lot of thought. I am very, very happy with the people that we have. Don Chaney, obviously, is an outstanding coach and an outstanding person, and I'm really fortunate to have someone of his qualifications as not only a coach, but as a player. And as the people will probably find out over time what a terrific person he is. He's really one of the best people I've ever met. And then Jeff Nix and Bob Salmi I've been with for a long time. And I know them well, and they know me. And they've always done a terrific job for all the coaches they've worked for. And so right now, you know, that's up in the air. That's not something that I feel I have to do. I think our staff is strong, and I'm looking forward to working with them.
Jeff, your dad in upstate New York in Batavia as the head coach of Genesee Community College for a number of years. Your brother, an assistant to Pat Riley in Miami. Have they been consulted to discuss this with you?
Well, I spoke to both of them, my father early this morning and my brother later in the afternoon. And I think they both felt torn, just like I do, about Coach Nelson's situation and not working out for them. And at the same time, I think they, you know, were happy for me being given a chance to coach in a great organization. And like this organization, I hope I live up to the confidence and you know, the hopes that my brother and my father and my mother have for me. I really do.
Jeff, on behalf of the thousands of Knicks fans, congratulations and the very best to you.
Appreciate it, John.
Difficult decision. Was this your decision alone, Ernie?
Well, it was my recommendation. I recommended it to Dave Checketts, and he was fully supportive of it.
Ernie, you go way back with Don Nelson, having played for him. I would have to assume, you being a very warm person, that this is a very difficult decision, particularly with your admiration for Don. Is that correct?
Well, absolutely. Don Nelson is a good coach and a good person, and it was a very hard decision. But I didn't feel the players were responding anymore, and I felt like we needed to go in another direction. And I felt like I had to do what I felt was best for the organization. At this time, I felt this move was in the best interest of the organization, so we can have 20, 22 games here at the end of the year, where maybe we can regroup and address some of the problems that we have, problems like our defense and our rebounding, and try to refocus and come together as a collective unit so we can make a nice run here at the end of the season, hopefully, and have a good head of steam going into the playoffs. Now, this is going to take some time. This is not going to happen overnight. You know, Jeff Van Gundy, who's been an assistant coach here for 7 years, that has a lot of experience, has worked for a lot of really great coaches like Rick Pitino, John McLeod, and Pat Riley, and he's really worked for this opportunity, and he's hungry, has a real passion for the game. He's one of the hardest working people I've ever been around, and I know the players really respect his work ethic and can relate to his work ethic.
Ernie, is this an interim position for Jeff, or is it permanent?
This is permanent. He is the head coach of the New York Knickerbockers, and at the end of the season, we'll reevaluate our situation. But I have a lot of confidence in Jeff, and he has confidence in himself, and I think he's going to do a fine job for us.
Ernie, was the move based on, or I should say, was it a statement that we care about this year, with all of the focus on money that will be available to free agents? People are interpreting what's going on philosophically with the team as maybe they're preparing for next year. But was this a blatant statement that we care about this year?
Well, we said that all along, that we do care about this year, that we're not giving up on this year. The core of this team, John, remains the same. Our top 6 players are still the same players. They're the ones that have the majority of the minutes. The only player that's not here is Charles Smith, and we've replaced him with J.R. Reed, Willie Anderson, and Brad Lowhouse. It's going to take us some time, but I think if we could come together, it's not only Jeff Van Gundy, it has to be a collective team attitude of coming together, putting everything behind us, and getting back to the basic fundamentals of having pride and being a competitive ball club and doing the little things that it takes to win ball games.
Ernie, I can't help but wonder, and many people would, for a coach who won over 800 games, I speak of Don Nelson, of course, what was his reaction to this news today?
Well, you know, as I said before, things like this are never easy, and, you know, Don's a professional. This has happened to us before, and he felt if I thought this was in the best interest of the team, he'll be a professional about it.
Did you sense a tone of resignation by him? Because I know in the papers today in New York, he reflected that if Ernie feels a change should be made, so be it. Do you see a change in Don Nelson, perhaps, from the days you were playing for him?
Well, it's always hard to know what a person has inside. You know, we started off the season real well, and everything was going well, and then it seemed like we got into a downward spiral, and we needed to do something to change that. As I said before, I like Don Nelson. He's a good person, and it's unfortunate it didn't work out for him here in New York.
And there is the new head coach of the New York Knicks. Tonight, certainly the first day of the rest of his life. Jeff Van Gundy taking over the club this evening. He is the 18th head coach in the history of the New York Knicks. His last head coaching job was on the high school level in Rochester, New York. And for Jeff, it is a dramatic elevation taking over the reins of the Knicks.
Well, I'm confident, yet I'm not naive. I think that I realize that the work the players put into it and the attitude that they bring forth is the key for us to get back on track and play winning, consistent basketball. It's not really about me. I'm here to direct and to create an environment so that they can play as well as possible. But it's not about just me. It's about the team and the sacrifice that goes into winning basketball, and hopefully our guys are ready to put forth the necessary work and sacrifice and role playing, all those things that go into the championship caliber teams, because that's really what I'm looking for, and I think really that's what they expect out of themselves.
Of Jeff Van Gundy. Earlier, John talked with Jeff about his emotions regarding taking over as Knicks coach for the very first time.
Well, I think I'm going to have mixed emotions as I walk onto the floor. Excitement, nervousness. But I think what I want to try to put out there for our team is one of a person that is working for them in a team setting to try to get a win tonight. And I think winning solves all things. And so that's what I'm looking forward to tonight.
So many questions regarding today's stunning development with Don Nelson 5, Jeff Van Gundy taking over as Knicks head coach. John addressed one of those issues with Knicks team president Ernie Grunfeld.
Ernie, is this an interim position for Jeff, or is it permanent?
This is permanent. He is the head coach of the New York Knickerbockers, and at the end of the season, we'll reevaluate our situation. But I have a lot of confidence in Jeff, and he has confidence in himself, and I think he's going to do a fine job for us.
All right, thanks very much, Deb. There was no difference of opinion on Don Nelson's future among Knicks management today when they fired him, fearing that the team could fall as low as 7th or 8th in the Eastern Conference, setting up a first-round exit from the playoffs. A move had to be made now before the cause was lost completely. That and the fact that Knicks laundry had been washed in public on a daily basis lately sped the exit of the 6th active winningest coach in the NBA.
Well, I think the answer to that question is pretty clear based on the action that we had to take today. But that doesn't diminish the fact that we have a lot of respect for him. He's an important part of the NBA's past and maybe even the future. I wish him well.
President Dave Checketts responding to my question of whether Don Nelson handled the media or the media environment here in New York well enough. Well, when Don Nelson was brought in to provide a breath of fresh air after the Darth Vader days of Pat Riley, what it turns out to be is that the Knicks needed Riley's iron fist because they are too self-interested and with minutes, shots, and all the things that destroy a team's success. Here's Pat Riley's reaction today.
Yes, it is very surprising to me, but in this sport, again, probably nothing ever really ceases to amaze you. So other than that, I don't know the facts about why, and I just wish, and I hear that Jeff Van Gundy is going to get the job for the rest of the season, and he'll do a good job.
Thanks very much, Marv. An inauspicious debut for Jeff Van Gundy. In his debut as the New York Knicks coach, as you saw it right here on MSG, a defeat at the hands of the Philadelphia 76ers, 100-92. It just doesn't get any worse than losing to the Clippers at home, and then the Sixers, the worst team in the NBA. They had lost 4 in a row, 11 of 12. Jeff Van Gundy's living a dream, but it turned into a nightmare. In the words of John Starks, as he played under Don Nelson, well, his nightmare is gone, but Starks is still injured. He did not help. Neither did Herb Williams, who started the game. Hit a jumper early, but it was Vernon Maxwell and the Sixers who got off on the right foot offensively, and they led 15-8. Hubert Davis off an Anthony Mason pass, able to cut the lead down to 1, 29-28 as Lucas's team led it after 1. The Knicks continued to play well in the second quarter. Another nice dish from Anthony Mason to Derek Harper driving to the hole. One of the few times the Knicks went to the goal. Harper hit the left-handed shot, and he got the foul. And the Knicks went up by 6 points. Philly trying to keep it close off a Harper miss. Maxwell alley-ooping brilliantly to Jerry Stackhouse, who ended up with 29 points. The Knicks led at 57-51 at halftime. Then Ed Pinckney back against the former nemesis Patrick Ewing, who will forget Villanova, Georgetown, and the stealing of the crown by the Wildcats. Pinckney hitting there, and Jeff Van Gundy's team started to see it slip. They were down 76-71 after 3. And in the fourth quarter, Stackhouse went to work asserting himself, this time from the outside with a couple of three-pointers, and the Sixers went up 92-84. The Knicks then scrambling, trying to get it done in the final 20 seconds. Lohaus missed it, and that turned into a Stackhouse jam. The Knicks have fallen to 34-26. They have dropped 7 of 9 now. Jeff Van Gundy 0-1 as the new coach of the New York Knicks, 100-92. The Knicks had won 7 in a row, 23 of 29 against Philadelphia before tonight, and losing in the Spectrum.